We're just gonna do a little heart-to-heart, little convo about how life's been. And in this episode, I think I'm gonna open up about something I've been struggling with in particular recently. What's up? Welcome to the George Kingdom. I just moved to Seattle, 23. My name's Cade. We're gonna do a little some unboxings of some random stuff that I don't even know what I got yet. And I'm gonna eat my little health bowl and vent, talk, do some podcasting. Oh, it's a nice little velvet rug for this carpet area that I'm sitting on. It's looks kind of gross. Next up. Oh, let's go. I bought like a cheap fucking espresso machine on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought this cheap coffee espresso capsules. We're gonna try these out. If they taste like shit, I'm just gonna cut my losses. But in my experience, when I buy stuff that's like typically really expensive, they just make cheaper versions in other countries and they sell them for like a fraction of the cost. And it's always been good, so I'm just gonna like see what happens there. But I've been doing a lot of sit around and wait the past few days because I'm just waiting on packages. And with my apartment, I live in the middle of Seattle, for people who don't know. And so since I live in the middle of the city, you can't exactly leave packages, otherwise they get stolen. So my apartment building doesn't have like a 24/7 person in charge of the front door, so it's locked. So Amazon people can't get in, and they're not gonna leave it outside. So they have to call you, which is really inconvenient. So if you're not there, they just like try again the next day, basically. And I've been waiting on so many packages that I'm like, well, I can't leave because there's so many packages coming in the next few days that like I'm gonna miss them, which is just really inconvenient because I don't even have a bed. Like, you're looking at my situation right now. This is the whole situation. Like, my little loft above is where my bed's gonna be. I think this might be the futon bed. I don't actually know, but it looks really small. I don't know how a whole bed could fit in here, but we'll see. I can't sit. Like, this is the only place I've sat is on the ground or on the little ladder thing right here. But I haven't sat. I haven't laid down. I've laid on the ground. I've slept on the ground. That's how shitty the situation's been. Got some Christmas lights for the house so that I don't have to use these like horrible down lights that I always use that are super harsh. You should definitely check out Seattle. Seattle's a beautiful city. It's like a more new feeling Boston, I feel like, or something. It's like a mix between New York City and Boston. But new, because all these tech companies came in. Look at that air fryer, bro. Look at that shit. That is beautiful. Air fryers are pretty much all you need to cook anything ever. These things are very, very, very effective. It's like killing 50 birds in one stone for cooking. So I got a Japanese style futon. Japanese style, you're supposed to be able to roll up really easily. So that could be why. But I don't know. So this is what it looks like unrolled. It's a Japanese style futon. It's good for what I'm doing, which is just single life, studio apartment living. And also it's really hot. I think I'm gonna put my hair up. Hold on. We're just gonna do a little heart-to-heart, little convo about how life's been since moving to Seattle, since I decided to go on the sequel, leave my life behind once again. Wow, it's really hard to focus on anything else when I'm eating. And in this episode, I think I'm going to open up about something I've been struggling with in particular recently. Well, kind of recently, but also since I think it came from living in the car. So for people who don't know, I lived in my car for 6 months and traveled the country and was like a travel photographer and all that stuff, which is great. But it was also terrible the whole time because solo travel, I don't know, if you've never done solo travel, it's kind of hard to understand, but solo travel is weird. Because when you're with someone, it's easy to do nothing. Like, it's really easy to do nothing with people you like. Like, it's super chill, you know? Like, you can just walk around and waste time, and it doesn't feel like wasted time. But when you're alone, sometimes everything feels wasted. You're like, why would I bother doing this or doing that? Or what's the point of doing this? What's the point of doing that? Because it doesn't feel like you're gaining any new experiences when you're by yourself sometimes. And I don't know if it stemmed exactly from that, but, like, chronic, I guess anxiety is like the closest where I can come up with. I've always struggled with anxiety my whole life, and it's not quite anxiety. I feel like it's more of it's like I build up this idea in my head of how much work it's gonna be for me to go on a walk, or get outside the apartment and go explore, or get on a train and spend 20 minutes or spend a couple hours just like go around the city, or just anything like that alone. I like overthink it or something. It's not even that I'm overthinking. I'm not really particularly worried about anything going wrong. It's just like I just like don't do it. I just like it's like chronic procrastination, which I've never in my life experienced. You know, and I get it for things that are like big. You know, like oh I want to move or something big. Like okay yeah, procrastinate that, which I did. But I'm talking about small shit. Like I'll be in my room editing, and I will like hold my pee for like 3 hours because I'm like it's like not worth it to get up and go pee right now or something. And I like, don't know how to explain this. Like, I'm not doing a great job explaining this, honestly. But it's something I've been really fucking struggling with, like, doing. It's very not helpful, you know? Like, I'll give another example. This is going to be gross because I'm, like, eating. But, like, I'm on the toilet, and I know I'm only going to poop, like, once or twice in the day. So I'll sit there on my phone and, like, do everything you do on the toilet, but I'll try and like get through everything. Like I'll try and get through like all of my DMs and like I'll go through every single message, try and go on every single updated video, rewatch everything, play a couple of games of Dream League, and I'm like, it's like, oh, you know what? It might be like OCD. I feel like it might be like OCD. That was the word I came with last time when I was high. But it's like, I'm like so focused this whole past year and a half with YouTube to make it work. And I got obsessed with like trying to find the right intro, the right this, the right morning routine, the right whatever. And I got obsessed with like routine. I think it like has to be ordered exactly right, you know, and like everything has to be exactly this, or I just kind of like am anxious or something. And I've just been fucking struggling with that, which is really annoying because I'm not OCD. I don't particularly care about details a lot, but it's almost OCD about like, it's hard to say it's OCD. But it's almost like I'm in paralysis, like perfectionist paralysis, except I'm not a perfectionist. I don't need the video to be perfect. I'll release a video that's not perfect. But it's like always having options, maybe, like always having the option to do this or that or this or this or this, and not really having any repercussions of choosing one or the other. And so then my mind's like just constantly always on the hunt for like the best option, what will give me the best ROI. And I think it's because I've been in ROI mind and mindset for so long. With YouTube, everything is risk reward, and how much work can I put into this video to get the most amount of reward without impeding on my normal life situation, getting in the way of like going out, like all these things. And it's just like everything's like a risk to reward seesaw. And my life feels like a constant cycle of like, well, should I do this or should I do that? Should I go on a walk or should I stay home and edit this video, even though I'm probably not going to edit, I'm probably just going to sit on my phone. And I just don't do either. It's really fucking annoying. And I don't know, I've been struggling with it for months, and I still get videos out, but it'll be like when I get obsessed and I'll just like knock out 5 videos in a row, and then I'll edit 5 videos in a row. Then I won't do anything for like 3 days straight, you know, and I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. And it's weird too, because at the exact same time that I'm feeling all these things, like, oh, I don't know about this, I don't know if I can do that, I'm also like painfully confident that I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna win on YouTube. And so at the same time, I'm like incredibly not in a hurry either. But it's frustrating because I want to be in a hurry, because I want to just go and get shit done. But it's like my brain's like, no, it's okay. Like, you're gonna get it done. Don't worry about it. We'll just figure it out like later today or something. And it's just so frustrating. And actually, in the past couple of months, I probably had like to the point where I can't even do anything. Level of like paralysis. Usually that kind of thing for me, at least, is some sort of temporary depression state where I feel like shit for like days on end. One thing I always tell myself coming back to is the Impact Theory podcast, and Tom Bilyeu, especially Lisa Bilyeu, his wife, are just such good communicators. Like, they're so good at verbalizing concepts that I can't even conceptualize in my head really until they say it, and they're just so good at it, and it helps me so much to like go through a podcast with him, because he's like out here trying to learn. He says things in the exact way where it makes sense in my head. And I encourage anyone who's like struggling with anything really to find creators and influencer people who make their life better and make them feel safe. You know, like one thing I've really noticed when you're living in the city, you have to kind of put on like a front for safety reasons. Like, you have to walk around and like almost look mad at night, otherwise people will fuck with you. If you're walking around homeless people everywhere, just don't make eye contact, pretend you're on a mission somewhere. And when you're living in the city, like by yourself, for example, for me, like I feel somewhat safe. Like I feel okay. I can take care of myself, kind of thing. But it's like a inner child type of safety guard. And there are certain people that you watch that kind of like give you a safe feeling. So like for example, you could be in a city all alone on a field. You don't know anyone there, but you have your AirPods in and you're listening to like your person, whoever it is, and you feel safe. You don't feel alone. Hopefully I'm not for someone watching, but that can really help you if you don't have someone like that, to find someone you really fuck with their content, you fuck with their message, their brand, whatever, and you just like watch them when you feel lonely, and it really fucking helps. I'll give you a great example of like when I say I feel like I have OCD or I'm developing OCD. I will wake up, and since I work online, there's no reason to do something first or last. You know, like I could go on a run or go to the gym first thing in the morning, or I could wait till the last thing at night, and it doesn't make any difference to anybody, for real, like not at all, you know. And I could eat breakfast now or later, or do intermittent fasting and wait till tonight. I could do any of them, and it doesn't make any difference. But if I choose to eat first, I can't work out because I'll have like a cramp. So I have to like pick and choose, and the problem is I don't pick any of them. And so 2 hours goes by, and now I'm kind of hungry, but now I want to work out, but I can't because I'm so fucking hungry. So I eat something, and I'm like, oh, I'll work out a couple hours. Then like a couple hours goes by, and I'm like working, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to work out now. Like I want to edit, and then like I'll just work out later. And it'll be like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I'm like, let me finish this one thing. Even though I've been done with my work for like an hour, I just like keep coming up with things to do other than go to the gym. And then finally I either have like 30 minutes, so I just squeeze it in there because I procrastinated, or I don't go at all. And that's like one example of what I mean. I'm just like hyper focused on choosing the right answer. And I know that there's no right answer. Like I know it makes no fucking difference which one I do. If I go to the gym first, great, get it out of the way. I'm gonna feel good after. If I don't, great, I'll just go later and it's fine, or no problem. My biggest issue is like I'll sit there and like punish myself for not choosing, yet it doesn't hurt because nothing happens, so I don't actually do anything. I just like am in a constant cycle of like, should I do this or should I do that? And then I sit around, go on my phone, get distracted a little bit, and then I go, oh, I need to do something. And then I'll go and try and do it again, and then I'll go back on my phone and I'll get distracted. And I think it's all like self-inflicted. You know, I think it's because I have no boundaries with my phone right now, because everything counts as ROI right now. Like any DM I get is a potential client or a potential sponsorship or a potential whatever. So it does help to be on my phone 24/7, you know? And that's the way in my head that I think I make it okay. Like it's okay to, you know, always be in work mode a little bit mentally, because opportunities pop up all the time. Like they do. It is true. But I think for me, I just get so distracted. It'll be like, okay, I need to go onto Twitter to find this person's profile so I can screenshot it so I can put it in this video. But then instead of doing that, I'll go on my phone, see a notification instead, click on their page, end up talking to them for a few minutes, forgetting why I was there, going on TikTok, looking at my new notifications, looking at my new followers, and then I go to my new page, and then I just like 30 minutes goes by, I'm like, oh fuck, what was I doing again? I'm like, oh yeah, I get that picture. Then I go back to Twitter and I fucking do it again. And it's like, oh. But the main thing I've been struggling with is that OCD thing, where I just like, I get up and I don't know how to start my day. And that goes back all the way to like middle school, honestly. Like Miss Bellbaum's class, she was my algebra teacher. And I just remember like I could always find the answer if I was told the first step. I always could solve. I was like amazing at math if I knew the first step. But I never knew what the first step was. I would just sit there and stare at the problem forever until I just like figured it out or something. And I remember like multiple times in extra help, I'd be talking and she would be like, okay, we'll just start here. And then I would start there and I'd finish the problem. No problem, super quick. And she'd be like, whoa, like you just got it. What's the problem? And I'm like, well, I didn't know to do that first step. She's like, well, it's so obvious. Like this is the question. Like obviously you start here. And I was always like, yeah, but that's not obvious to me. Like I can finish this problem easy. I can follow the steps, no problem. But for some reason, getting started is always so fucking hard. And I I know everyone struggles with getting things started, but this situation I'm in right now is like almost unique because I'm so aware of the fact that none of them make a difference, and it's just like I can't get myself to do it. And so maybe it's a self-discipline thing. I don't know exactly what it is. I just know that I've been wanting to record a podcast where I got this off my chest a little bit, so I could begin that process going. Because you know, usually for me, when there's something that's really, really bogging me down, as soon as I mention it on a video or a podcast, the problem doesn't go away, but it definitely like tapers down way more, like way more. And I think I've been like scared to talk about it for some reason, or it just like didn't feel right, or I was like, well, once this video is done, then I'll make that video, or like once this is ready, once Wi-Fi is done, then I'll really go and make this, or once. And it's just like, what am I doing, dude? Like on paper, it's fine, you know. Like when I look back and say, okay, in the last 6 months, I've uploaded almost every single day on YouTube. I've done podcasts every single week. I've successfully moved out of Denver. I began the sequel. I did all the things I wanted to do. But in my head, I'm on like a day-to-day basis is my problem. It's like my day-to-day. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing the best or whatever. And I think it's because I know I could be doing more. But the thing is, like, I'm still like pulling it off, you know? And I think that's like part of the problem is like, well, do I need to do those things? Like, because I'm still uploading almost every day. But I feel like I've gotten kind of further and further away from why I started the channel, which is to offer videos that people want to see. And I think I'm like getting worried that the videos that people want to see aren't what I can offer. Like the ones that people are clicking on are videos like what NFT should I buy tomorrow? Like that's what people are looking up. You know, people don't care what Lazy Lions is up to. They don't care they don't care as much about with the founder of a project's interview. Like they care about what to buy tomorrow, especially in a dead market. I thought people would care less in a dead market about that, but that's the only thing they care about in a dead market. Like I thought dead market would come and people would say, perfect, time to educate myself a little bit and make good decisions. But they're not. Like the mentality doesn't even change at all. They're just like, okay, now really what do I buy? Because there's nothing to buy kind of thing. And I'm like, yo, are you fucking kidding me? It's like the only online industry that supporters require return on investment, you know? Like it's so funny. I'm stuck in NFT influencer world. I'm always thinking about it because I'm in that world. And it's like a lot of them have NFT projects, right? And so people support them because they like them, but they mainly support these influencers because they bring them money or they get them free whitelists that give them money. And this is the only fucking industry that's a thing. Not even the crypto industry has that. That is just NFTs. Every other fucking social media area, take fitness for example, people don't give a fuck, dude. They're just there to support the creator. And I'm like, fuck me, dude. Like, that's how it should be, you know? And that's the good thing is I've cultivated my audience to where it is that. I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, good thing I did cultivate my audience to where people do support me because they like me. But to win in this industry is way harder if you're not going to offer an alpha pass or something like that. Because that's just what people are after right now. And even though people do like me for my videos and who I am as a person, obviously they like me way more if I had an alpha pass or something. And it kind of stinks because I'm just like, I'm not going to offer that. Like, that's just not something I'm interested in whatsoever. I'm not interested in calling markets every other day. Like, I'm interested in a whole bunch of different stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just struggling because I'm tired of this in-between stage that I feel like I'm constantly in. It's like I never end up, like, getting anywhere. It's just, like, I constantly go from, like, one purgatory to another purgatory situation where it's like, okay, now we're kind of, like, in this sort of dead market, kind of, but we're not remotely close to mature enough to actually be talking about anything interesting. So we're, like, on the tail end of just, like, bullshit projects launching bullshit, and I'm like, that's just not interesting to anybody. But we're not even remotely close to the metaverse. We're not remotely close to like any companies acquiring NFTs really as assets. We're kind of just like in this like little weird phase where everything just kind of blows, you know? And I think that's definitely a part of it, because if you zoom out far enough, NFTs are interesting. you know. And maybe for me, I'm just upset that like the people just aren't clicking on videos that I think should be interesting. And it's like, fuck, dude. I'm not really ranting to you listening, honestly, right now, because you're the exact person who I'm not talking about in this situation. But a lot of the people in NFTs just aren't interested in what I'm interested in. And it's kind of disheartening, not going to lie. It's a little bit disheartening because I think I'm going to win. I'm very confident that I'm going to win in the end. And I just wish they could see what I see. I'm just like, if you saw what I saw and you knew what I knew, you would be fully on board with me. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just upset that like I'm not at 10,000 subscribers yet, or every video is not getting 20,000 views or something. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's just this like, maybe it's no different than any other growth stage where I'm just getting a little bit impatient, a little bit annoyed, a little bit like, what are we really doing here, you know? And I know the answer is probably just like, just fucking suck it up. It's fine. You're literally gonna be fine. I'm sure it's probably that. But anyways, on a lighter note, I am excited to be in Seattle. I love it. I love Seattle. I'm next to this beautiful fucking park with like the lake, the big lake, and the mountains in the distance. And it's like the most beautiful place ever. I was trying to pop up a video here if I can remember when I'm editing. But it's the most beautiful place ever. And it's like not even half a mile from my house. And the studio is everything I'd want. It's just my little room. I've been craving this forever, for like months now, just to come home and not have to share my space with anyone, to just be myself and all that stuff. And so that has been fantastic, like fantastic. So fantastic that I haven't even truly noticed it that often. It's just like, it's just nice. It's just really nice to just have my stuff here. Just me, no roommates or anything. That was the goal when I was kind of trying to find an apartment in Seattle. And I have a loft above me where my bed will be. I'm gonna have like my office set up probably over here or over here somewhere, and everything's good. You know, I just now that I'm out here though, you know, my rent's double what I was paying back in Colorado, and so I do worry about like money things. I'm like, well, what if commissions dry up completely? You know, like it could happen. Like it hasn't ever happened before, but like it could totally happen. I could totally go, you know, completely cold turkey dry for a whole month or something. It's never happened, but it could. And honestly, with my luck, it will happen this very first month kind of thing. But that's just how it is, I think, you know. And it's almost good that it forces me to think more creatively and be like, okay, if commissions did dry up, I need to have another source of income. And there needs to be something else too. And I'm kind of excited to figure those things out. Not really excited, more just like, let's just like get this done. Let's just get this over with. Like I'm tired of fucking struggling. I'm just tired of struggling for like bullshit, dude. Like struggling to survive. Like what the fuck, you know? It's like impossible for me to truly sometimes like lose myself in life when I'm constantly just like, I don't have enough money to be enjoying this. This feels like recess. And I said that like a year ago on my podcast. Like free time to me just feels like recess. It's like time that is given to me, but it's not free. It's just like time that they give me that's just like recess until the next shift starts or the next commission or whatever it is. And like, that's fucking annoying, dude. Like, that's really annoying. That's why I'm really looking forward to with YouTube, hopefully sponsorships or AdSense revenue where money is fully in my control kind of thing. And I'm looking forward to that. And I think in a year from now, my life will look a whole lot different as far as finances. I will hope. Another thing that I think maybe my NFT passion has dried a little bit is because there's no new projects that are particularly interesting, and there's no ideas right now that are particularly innovative. And it's kind of just like sad, because I'm like, wow, like there's nothing happening right now at all that's interesting. Solana Summer is the best we could come up with. That sucks. Solana projects aren't good. They're not that good. ETH projects suck, right? Solana projects are even worse. There's just like nothing impressive happening with the technology, and I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, who's building anything? Everyone says they're building. Like, building what? Like, what are y'all doing every day? Like, I have no idea. I'm in there like, in projects that I'm even invested in, and they're just like putting out announcements every so often. But I'm like, what are y'all doing all day? Like, what is your role today? What are you doing? What are you actually building? And I don't think I have like a clear answer. And maybe I need to have more conversations with people who are on teams and figure out what it is exactly they're doing. And I think part of me is nervous to have that discussion because I'm a little bit worried that the answer is like, well, we're not really doing anything. And I'm a little bit worried that there's more projects than we would hope that are probably in that boat of like, yeah, we're just kind of slow rugging this project, no, like low key kind of. And I think I think a lot of projects are gonna end up being slow rugs where they just kind of give up. So I don't know where that puts the rest of the industry. You know, like we've been so bearish for so long that it's like hard to see the light. And I think I'm just kind of like, where is the light? Like, where is anything helpful happening at all? You know, like the only one is like people could look at is like the other side, but they haven't done anything. Like Yuga Labs, Bored Apes, like all they've done is just drop projects. People are like the Boy Beyond Club has done this and they've done that and they've changed culture. I'm like, no, they have not done any of those things. They've literally just dropped 5 projects. They've just dropped Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Kennel Club, Other Side Land, and then the Ape Coin. I'm like, that's the only things they've done. They haven't done anything. They just dropped stuff that people bought. And I'm like, that's the best we've got? Like our whole industry, that's the best we've got? Pictures of monkeys that have no utility other than get free stuff from the rest of their collection because it's who they are. I don't know. They're just not interesting. Like there's nothing interesting happening or any, like there's just nothing like, I look at my ideas of videos I have so many ideas for videos, but like none of them are intriguing to me right now. And I'm like, damn, if I'm not interested in any of the shit that's happening, what are other people who are interested in NFTs on YouTube doing? And if I was not a YouTuber and I was a consumer, just a trader or something, I would be on YouTube looking for the YouTubers, the NFT YouTubers that I like, and just watching their videos to like pass the time kind of. And that's what I hope people watch my YouTube videos for. That's the only thing that I have faith in right now for YouTube is my brand and that people would like me. So that's why they watch my videos. That's what will help me survive every bear market. Because my YouTube channel, whether or not I like it, is tied to the market. And even though I don't make shilly content, when the market's down, so is my channel views. So is everything related to my channel, right? And it's because it's NFT focus and most people are talking about the same stuff in NFTs. So I think it's just rough and it's kind of annoying. And I forget sometimes how high we can climb and like how good my channel can and is doing when the market's great. You know, I remember when the market was like in the fall of last year and I was literally gaining like 50 to 150 subs a day. It was like fucking nuts. And there's some days now where I don't get a single subscriber, you know, or even lose a couple of subscribers. Like in a dead market, it's dead as fuck. Dead as fuck. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And then lastly, because I saw this on maybe been the podcast with Lisa, but someone was talking about creating an alter ego to use to your advantage. That's not like a weird, like imaginary friend type deal, but an alter ego for yourself where you can name. They could be like, I think her example, she chose Wonder Woman, and she was like, would Wonder Woman do this if this is what she wanted? And the answer was yes. And she's okay, so well, I'm Wonder Woman, so I have to go do that kind of thing. And I think that might be a good idea for anyone who's struggling, is creating an alter ego, kind of like Yugi with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like he had Yami, who was like the grown-up version, the one who was like the pharaoh who could do everything and was confident. And then there was Yugi, who was not so confident, younger, smaller, and Yami was like his alter ego. And I don't know if I really tried that all the way, but it might be something I'd try. Oh my god, I was really ending that sentence and I was like, wow, I have no enthusiasm for like anything right now. Maybe that's why I'm so just like down about like a lot of shit, because when I'm with people, I instantly perk up. Like I instantly perk up and I'm like that person in the group. But when I'm alone, I get really, really quiet. Not that I'm lonely quiet, I just like turn into someone who's just like way more, just like super chill, but almost so chill that like nothing's really that exciting. But as soon as I'm with people, I get like super excited about fucking everything. Like, everything's interesting. And I think I just gone through this like super long isolated period, and social media hasn't helped, honestly. Like, social media, in the sense that like it's like in to be entrepreneur. It's like in to be alone. It's like, be alone, be comfortable with yourself, love yourself, be alone. But like, we're literally social creatures, so like that's horrible advice at the same time. You know, it's good for certain periods of time to go through alone, and it probably is good maybe even to test yourself and to go a long time alone. But like, long term, it's a horrible idea, because to be human is to like be a communal creature and shit, and like participate in life and go to baseball games and shit like that. And you're like missing out on full aspects of life if you don't do things like that. And I think I'm just like so ready for that. I just like, it comes at the risk of like meeting new people and like going out and trying stuff, which I haven't done in forever. Like, I haven't gotten to get a job outside of my room in almost in like 9 months, you know. And I want to get like a bartending job just so I can meet people and travel and like work and stuff in the city outside of my room a little bit. And just like doing all those things, like, it's so much work and just like paperwork and all this stuff. And I'm just like, ugh. But there's like almost no substitute for like good people, good friends, being able to go out and just not stress about stuff. Like, it's really, really a good thing. And I think I need to rejoin society. I think maybe this like recent spike of like OCD nature, not really enthusiastic about anything, I think that may be like the first steps of like frostbite type of deal, but with becoming a fucking like loner kind of thing. Like, when you're alone for too long, you get like weird, you know, you get like these weird tendencies that you pick up. Like, I feel like anyone who's like gone out either into the middle of nowhere or something like that, they always come back with just like a screw loose somewhere. Not always, but like, I feel like sometimes just like you meet someone old who's been like living alone for a long time, and they're just fucking weird, you know. And I don't really want that, you know. Working at home, living at home is great, but like, you need a place to go and a place to come back to. That's something I've learned when I was on my travels. If you don't have a place to go every day and a place to come back to every day, life gets substantially harder. If you don't have a home and a place to go, could be work, could be a gym, could be whatever. But to not have anywhere to go and then not have anywhere to come back to, it's not a fun time. Not a fun time. When I was living in my car, I didn't have anywhere particularly to go. I could just go anywhere, but there was no reason to go anywhere or not to go anywhere. So I like, a lot of times, just kind of sit around and be like, what am I fucking doing right now? Like, I don't have to go to work because I don't have a job, because I'm traveling. But like, I don't really want to go there. I can't go there, and there's nowhere to go because I live in this car. So I just kind of sit there and be like, I don't know, I think I got used to that. I'm not sure why I do that. Like, what would the benefit of me just sitting there, not picking anything due, like almost like waiting for the day to be over so that I have to choose? It's like I don't even want the freedom. I don't fucking know. And then when I think about all these things, I also come up with these reasons that sound perfectly logical, but I can't decide for myself, because it's me coming up with them, if it's me making excuses or if it's just facts. Like, I sit here and I'm like, okay, I feel like I haven't done all these things because I have this like OCD tendency right now for some reason. But like, I did move and I did figure all this stuff out, and my packages all did arrive, and I knew I was gonna have to wait a couple extra days to just sit around in the apartment and get all my shit. So like, of course I'm drained because I'm fucking sitting around doing nothing. Like, of course I'm tired. I just moved. Of course I'm emotionally drained. I don't want to film. I'm exhausted. And then 2 days ago I did a whole vlog day. I vlogged the entire day, which for people who don't know, who think vlogging is easy, vlogging is fucking hard. Vlogging is very difficult, especially when you are a filmmaker, so you're trying to make a story and also figure out angles. You're also trying, like, all these things. So I think emotionally I've been drained a little bit too. I just don't know how much of that is me making excuses, how much of that is true. I think this routine, this extremely free routine with zero structure, because I just lack the whatever it takes to be able to do this without structure. It's not a thing. Like, people struggle without structure. You need structure to get shit done and to do things, to feel good. You know, I remember I read somewhere, structure and boundaries create room for creativity, or create room for chaos, or something like that. It was something like, you need to have the structures and boundaries there so that you can be chaotic and it would work. But if you're only chaotic and there is no structure or boundaries, then none of the things get done because it's just constantly chaos and it's just like nothing's really happening. And I think that's where I've been at. Like, I'm still getting shit done because in the end, it's like, get YouTube video done, upload video, and TikTok, get TikTok filmed, click post. Like, in the end, it's just about getting a video done, So for me, like, in the end, I do get those things done, but everything else, which is like, go outside for a walk, go to the gym, go speak to a human being, go lay in the sun, those things are what fall off the plate where I'm like, well, like I could do that, but I could just do this first real quick. Or let me lie down. Like, let me just do this. Let me set up every single thing I just opened up right now, right this minute before I do anything for myself. And it's just like, I think it's those things where in my head, I should have like a schedule where I'm like, okay, from 8 a.m. to whatever p.m., I will do this, no exceptions, none. Like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I will do this from this period to this period. After that, I'm done. I think I need to have some kind of established framework of a schedule of some kind because it's all over the place. Like, especially because my schedule will be random. I'll just be like, oh, podcast Thursday morning at 10 a.m. It's like, well, that could screw up my whole schedule, and I think that's where I'm really struggling is because we have scheduled interviews that happen all over the world. And we have to accommodate for times and time changes and all this stuff. And it's great, but it leaves no room for structure, bro. Like, there's really no room. And maybe I'm making excuses because I haven't actually tried. But it is really hard, it's fucking difficult. But maybe this is all part of the growing stage. Maybe this is all part of the figuring out stage. Like, I remember there's this like picture, I don't know if it was a meme or what, but it was basically about giving up. And it was this guy like, mining for diamonds basically, and he's like this close from the diamond, and he's just like been going at it for months. He just gives up, but he was this close. And I always think about that. I'm like, I know if I ever were to give up, I would have been right at the door, and that's where it would have stopped. That's just always how it works. So I will not be giving up. I'm just voicing frustrations that happen every few months or so. I just like get overwhelmed with a bunch of stuff, and I just like feel like the walls are closing in on me. And, it's hard to see light at the end of the tunnel when you don't see it, like you have to be looking for it. And I think I want to be looking for it. I'm just not yet. And so this is that first step, talking about it, bring it to the surface, try and distract myself a little bit less with my phone, take baby steps. One thing I have gotten good at is taking baby steps, and sometimes not beating myself up makes me slower, because I'll give myself slack when maybe I shouldn't. But in the long run, I think it's okay. As far as like actually getting things done. Like, yes, if I had done that thing extra, then yeah, maybe I would have had it in 2023 versus 2024 or something like that. But it's like, is that going to matter in the long run? And I don't know. And I also don't know if I want to work like I remember one time when I was in nursing school, I was a nursing major for my freshman year before I changed schools. They didn't have the major, so I had to change majors. But I was a nursing major, and I remembered I liked the environment I was in. I don't remember how much I hated the studying, because it was like 4 hours of studying a day, which sucked. But like, I didn't mind it if everyone around me was also doing it. Like, I always fantasize about like working in a hospital or living with people who work in a hospital or something, just to be around that type of energy. And so for me, I don't know if I actually want to work all the time, or if I just work as a way to kind of make myself feel more secure and safe. Because when I was a kid, that was my safe haven, was my studies, because I didn't really have that many friends who would hang out with me. So if we were all in the front of the school and we were all talking, huddled up in groups or whatever, I was never really in any of those groups. I could never fit in. Like, no one ever wanted me in their little group. I would just kind of like wander around, pretend like I didn't care, pretend like I didn't see them, and usually just like find a corner by myself and just like do homework, because there was no one to talk to about anything. Even if there was people to talk to, it's not like I got invited to the party or something. It's like, so there's nothing to talk about. And so I remembered I would always just like do my homework, so I always could do that. Plus it was helpful because I didn't have to do it later. I could go play soccer. by myself. And I think I always just kind of retreated to what I could do. And in this situation right now, I can always edit. I can always make YouTube videos. I can always film a podcast. I can always do these things on my own. And I think that's great to have that thing. But it's also like a perfect escape route from facing things that I actually want to do, which is to make friends, to get a job, to get things done. And I can always kind of just like be like, oh, well, you know, like I also need to do this. I'll just do this instead. And I don't know. I think maybe I'm just struggling with that or something. But anyways, I don't even know what my brain is turning to mush at this point. I'm just like saying things out of order and totally like there's probably multiple parts of this podcast where if I stitch it together, like minute 48 would go better at minute 12 with this other story kind of thing. But as you can see, I don't even have a fucking desk. I'm sitting on the ground. And I got to put all this shit up. So I'm going to call it quits here. That honestly, like right now, in my head, all I want to do is just literally turn the camera off and lie down and just like go to sleep the rest of the day. Like that's what I want to do. And I haven't done anything all day because I've been waiting on these packages all day. I didn't know where they're going to come. So like all I want to do is sit around. But I also know that like I want to go for a walk and like feel alive and awake. But at the same time, the energy it takes to go out there and do that is like too much for me. So I just kind of sit around and do nothing. Anyways, I hope in this next video I have a little bit more energy, maybe more structure. I feel a little bit more optimistic. But until then, continue on your voyage, continue to learn, and be grateful for your life watching this video. Bye.